Hello, this is Brett. Welcome to my channel. I've been playing Kerbal Space Program for a while now, over a year, probably a couple of years. And I thought I'd make a video about fuel depots. These are really helpful additions to the game. Once you master orbital rendezvous, you can rendezvous with these things and transfer propellant to the craft you're using to explore the Kerbal solar system. Anyway, I set up initial early tech using basic technology for the fuel depot. I set up the fuel depot about 2,500 kilometers from Kerbal. So let's take a look at it. Since it's early tech and the particular mission actually asked for me to make a base for room for 6 Kerbals, and so I had to put some extra space on there for the Kerbals to complete the mission. But the main part of the fuel depot is I took these FLT 400 tanks and I clustered them together. I put 3 satellites around a core of 1 for a total of 4 tanks. So that's 1,600 total for that cluster. Then I joined it up with a FLT 200 tank. Then I put another cluster of 1,600 down below. And then I put another FLT 200 down below that. I think I just did that for an extra delta V. So what you come out with is 1,600 in the first cluster, another 1,600 for 3,200. Then add another 200, that's 3,400, and then another 200, and that's 3,600. This thing has 3,600 fuel in it. Then I put the docking ports on this is kind of the mid-section portion of the fuel depot. So when you dock there, it won't tilt to one side or another. It's kind of in the middle. And I put a docking port at each of the fuel tanks on the upper section. That way you can come in from any angle and you don't have to make too many adjustments. You have multiple options. You can dock more than one craft there if you need it. I also put lights on it to shut them off. You can see if you're on the dark side, you'll have these lights to illuminate your docking. And then of course I put the antenna relays on it. And these are combinable, so I just put 3 of them on there on each of the fuel tanks. 3 combinable relays of these gives it very good range. And right now you can see my little lunar explorer docked to the station. Anyway, you can see the range of the and how it extends out. It'll easily extend out to the moon and Minmus. It's going clear out to Minmus easy. This acts as an extra satellite node where you can get better communication between when you're doing Minmus and moon missions. This station will aid you, because if you can see it in this instance, the moon is kind of other side from the Kerbal Space Center. You're going to lose communication if you have no other satellite nodes set up. But this one will be able to act as a node for communication if it's on a bad side of Kerbin. Right now it's not going to. It looks like it actually is getting a little bit of signal from Kerbin, so it will provide a node. You can see the link there. It will provide a nice link to the moon, even though it's on the opposite side from the Kerbal Space Center. Same thing for Minmus. But we're at about 2,500 kilometer orbit with this. Also wanted to take a look at this. I realized one thing is I need a mobile fuel depot. Basically, it's just a a big flying fuel tank that can follow you around depending on where you're going. So if I was going to do a moon or a Minmus mission, I'd want the planetary mobile depot to basically set up an orbit in the moon. As you can see here it is. It's at 491 kilometers from the moon. Let's take a look at it. I'm planning on doing a moon mission, so I put it up in orbit around the moon so it can be there. So when I come off the surface of the moon, it can help fuel me up. As you can see, this is a X232 fuel tank with 2 satellite tanks, X216 satellite tanks. This is a total of 2880 liquid fuel in it. It's a pretty good amount. And as you can see, it got to the moon with probably about 75% of a full tank. This was done with earlier tech, but not beginning tech, a little bit more advanced, because you can see I have bigger fuel tanks. I'm still using the older relay antenna satellite, and again, this acts as a node. And I got 2 combinable relays, and it can do a good job of reaching out. Take a look at it. It's easily reaching out. It can serve as a relay station for communication around the moon or Minmus, wherever you're at. I also set up a polar satellite so it can provide coverage when the mobile depot isn't in the best of positions to provide that coverage. If you're on the dark side of the moon and you can't get that communication, this thing will serve to fill in that gap. So this is set up real nicely for you to do lunar missions right now. And it'll be sitting there when you come off the surface of the moon, and you can just fill up if you need it. If you don't need it, just go back to Kerbal and redock with the fuel station. Now I showed you the first fuel depot I built, and then I showed you the mobile depot that helps me out. I built a second one when I had later tech, and let's look at this one. As you can see, it's just 2 big fuel tanks using the larger, more advanced fuel tanks. We've got 4 docking points around this one with the lights. Real nice. And now we got the better solar panels that provide better coverage. Got the Poodle engine, which is a pretty efficient engine. And then I got a more advanced relay on this one. Just one, because one of these is better than about 8 of those other ones. But this is just 2 big 3240 for a total of 6480 fuel. And we got it into this orbit. I'll show you the orbit. I put this up at a 4,455 kilometer orbit. This orbit's a little bit higher than the old tech fuel depot. And from here, let's see, yeah, I got a 0.0 degree difference between it and the moon. It's really matched up to the moon nicely. And from here, it takes about a 2 o'clock position. See if I can get it to show an encounter here with the moon. You see this from here, it's about 270 meters a second to get 271 to get to the moon from here. And you can kind of fine tune it, see where we go from here. Okay, that's a pretty good orbit. So about 258 is going to get you to the moon. You're in a pretty tight orbit from there. It'll probably take you another 50 meters a second. So about 300 meters a second total will get you to the moon. Comparing that to low Kerbal orbit, you're looking at, I typically get about 750 to 800 meters just to get to the moon. So you're saving about 500 meters a second from this depot. And this is showing the advantages of a of the fuel depots and what they bring to the game. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you later.